Good evening, traders, and welcome to another StockX post-market recap. So we're still trading outside of the main office, and want to give you guys an update about what's happening in the market and also explain to you guys, is this the bottom or is this the top? So we're going to be going through various levels, going over some key education materials, and discuss where we see the market going in the near future. But let's recap on what we did today and how the overall performance was. So today we had discovered, pretty much some key information here, with the SPX trading range, which was at 62.33 and 62.65. Okay, now it's very important to list down what the pre-market range is, because often you would see the market kind of bounce off these levels. So if you go on these SPX levels that we have given, many times, buying or selling off the pre-market low can help you make a nice set of return here. So for example, this right over here, when SPX hit this pre-market low at 62.34, you've seen an immediate bounce off this it was basically a 10-point range, which could have given you a nice scalping opportunity right off the bat there. So that was a nice movement there. Okay, we actually spoke about that on Twitter as well, that you'll see a potential pop, and it did happen off the pre-market low. So always make sure you have that as well. In this gamma report that we gave at 7:28 before the market opened, we said that the call gamma was showing a tight distribution, and the only way you were going to get super bullish if the market recovered above 62.70 and 62.80. That's the only key thing that would take the market out. Now for the downside, we noticed that the distribution was basically at a bottom at around 62.20. Okay, so that's where SPX managed to stay above. You can kind of see here that it did temporarily move lower, and our level 2 bearish was pretty much close to the bottom, so we gave those levels as well, with level 1 bearish 62.30. You've seen a pop off there as well temporarily, then a breakdown. But pretty much here on our SPX chart, once you got under 62.47, this is my weekly chart, that's when the market started to really break down and start to go lower. Okay, now the key question remains, why is the market moving lower? So the market was moving lower simply because of the fact that at 12 p.m. Eastern time, Trump basically released a bunch of letters. So we mentioned this as well as an important thing that he tweeted, and we spoke about it during the morning call and all that stuff, saying that he's going to tweet a lot of details behind the letters of what his intentions of the tariffs are. So when that news came out, we start to see a continuous breakdown on the market here, and that's where it looked like we were going to be moving lower here. Okay, so that's going to be key information here. Now based off this here, our key trades, so a couple of things that we got into this week here. We had a lot of swings, only 3 swings, right? So we had core weave calls, which was doing all right pre-market until news came out that they're buying that company, and they're doing it for all stock, which caused the stock to open down around minus 5%, but it managed to recover. Okay, so very interesting to see that. You can see here that pretty much it was trading in our chop range all day, so we weren't really worried about that. We're still holding those calls. We also had SMCI calls, which basically SMCI bounced off this level 1 bearish support, and it continued to help. So it's very possible if the market gets bullish again, it can start to move back higher, as long as this level 1 holds. If it doesn't, then SMCI is likely to go down here. Now my biggest play, which was Tesla, we had this on Friday at market open, and we held these 300 puts. The reason why we held these 300 puts is because on Friday we knew that there was a strong sense that something was going on with Elon. Tesla looked weak overall, and so forth. Okay, now that particular trade here managed to score us over 300%, over 250 which basically was our bread and butter today. Okay, so we sold our Tesla puts from 3.9 to 13.9, with banking a 256% return here. Going into this Tesla play, we sold it because it was holding our level 3 bearish, which is at 292. It slightly broke there during the morning open, but the premiums were too high, so we decided to sell it right there and then and enjoy the profits here. This trade alone allowed me to bank over 10 grand in profit. So because of that, you know, we weren't too worried about all the other two plays that we have here. Now, it's kind of unfortunate if someone didn't take that play and took the CoreWeave and the SMCI, but I'm not too worried about that right now because the semiconductors are doing a little bit better. So besides all that, you know, the swings, it's always, you know, most of the time our swings are very calculated, but the news can always change everything. So that's why anytime you take a swing, you always have to be ready to, you know, pretty much understand that that trade can go to shit if things do switch around, which is totally very possible and happens a lot in the Trump market. So another thing we do in the room is we do A+ trades. So I placed an order to buy this NVIDIA 160 call at 1.3. This was a fantastic entry here, okay? Even though the market was going lower, this play did not go under 1.3 at all during the entire day. It's pretty much the bottom of this premium here, okay? We had these Broadcom calls, which also hit 30%. This NVIDIA call hit 35%. Sorry, it hit 40%. And these coin calls only hit 20%, okay? But what I ended up doing here is I start getting rid of all my positions here. So when this NVIDIA call hit, it basically gave around 40%. You know, pretty much we're just chilling all day. It just kept moving. So 20%, 20%, and it was just pretty much strong the entire day. Anyone that didn't like what they were seeing, they could have just sold it if they wanted to, right? But pretty much they still have a lot of potential, right? So that trade, in my opinion, even though I have a standard of 50%, was a nice one. I decided to take it only for small profits, okay? The second thing we did is that we basically pre-announced 6150 for tomorrow here. This trade I wanted to swing, okay? But was another decent play here that gave our members over 40% on that particular trade as well. So even though the price action was not the best, the team managed to do well, okay, based on the trades we've taken. We've also gave a small account QQQ play, which was at the beginning. This here, it got filled at 0.8. It only hit a max of 30%, not much, you know, with bad price action. It hit up more than $1 there, and we gave another swing for the free Discord here, which is puts. Okay, so we are bearish in this market in the short run. I don't think it's the top necessarily, as you see in my thumbnail, but because SPX went under 62.20 and Trump is literally giving letters on every single country on which his intentions are with the tariffs, I believe that 61.87 is going to happen. Okay, we're under level 1 bearish, and we went below my estimated weekly low, which is a tough number to break. This is below the gamma here, so it's likely that we're going to test the 61.87. When the 61.87 on SPX hits, this is where the trend gets confirmed on the downside for the week. You might see a big bounce off the 61.87 to 62.47, assuming there's no news. But if it does break down, guys, watch out for a big drop to 61.33, which can easily happen this week as well. Okay, Tesla, I'm waiting for it to go to 301 before getting puts here again. The premiums are pretty crazy. NVIDIA pretty much stuck in my chop range here. It can really pop above 162. It's so far as it looks like it's going to chop here. So we want to see if it can hold this 152 support here. CoreWeave, it literally hit my or didn't hit my level 1 bullish yet, but it's still stuck in this chop range. Not much movement there. SMCI has held my level 1 bearish support. Netflix also looks like it's in the chop range as well. So a lot of these levels have been pretty much, you see that ARM broke down, right? ARM looks like it's pretty weak here only because when that large tariff of 35% was put on Japan, that's when it started to see major weakness. So we're looking at that carefully here. PLTR was very strong. I was very close to buying this right off the bat, but didn't get a chance to. So this looks like it's going to 140 here. And Oracle bounced right off my level 1 bearish right at the open here. So very interesting to see that. It hit the level 1. It's pretty much been trading in range. So we want to see if that holds. And HIMS also, we got another thing here that hit our level 1 and bounced. Okay, so the week just started. We're holding the 6150 puts for tomorrow because we believe that it's somewhere you want to be in those trades, right? So when SPX was actually, when we called out this trade here, right? So very interesting, you guys can see here that we called out this trade when this was going for around 4.5 to $5. Okay, so we never want to buy and chase, because the premiums could get very possible they could get weak here, right? So SPX, I said that right at this point here that we might, this is when we were exactly at around the low of the day. I said you can see a pop to 62.20, 62.30, which exactly happened right off that number when it hit there, right? So we were waiting for that, and we timed that entry. As soon as it happened, those puts started to all pay, and the people that didn't want to hold, they had an opportunity to bank 40%. So that's pretty much what we do in the room. Click the link, join the mentorship if you guys want to get this type of analysis here. And it's important that if you're a small account trader, a new trader, or one that has been beaten up by the market, that you consistently take profits between 30 to 50%, so that way you can build up your confidence and play with profits. It's always important that you do that. Because I had an awesome trade on Tesla where it got over 10K in profits, that allows me to hold other trades. And we also sold our NVIDIAs, our Broadcom, and our coin, which allows us to have more capital into other further plays and take risks. So remember, option trading is more about account management than being the best analyst in terms of your levels or all that stuff. That's secondary. If you can manage your account effectively, you should be fantastic when it comes to trading. So always put that first before you do anything. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one. And like always, let's get that money.